So, last year, Shadow Generations released, and it was a shock to all gamers out there. But it wasn't like that at first. This game had a bit of skepticism to it. Like, what were we gonna expect with Shadow Generations? All we had to do was wait for more news to come out, and then the game finally came out last year. And what did people think of Shadow Generations? They loved it. Now, what do I think of Shadow Generations as a game? It is a very good and solid game. I have really no negatives with this game. Maybe just a few nitpicks here and there. The game overall controls very well. The levels are fun and engaging to go through, and there's a lot more on top of that mountain to add on to. So mainly, I'm just going to be talking about the gameplay of Shadow Generations and going into why it works. And I will bring up a few other things along the way too. So let's break open Shadow Generations and what it has to offer. So, Shadow Generations has various different parts to its gameplay, the levels, the hub world, and I guess you can add the abilities onto that too. Let's make our way into the level gameplay of Shadow Generations first. I don't know what crack Sega was smoking, but the levels in this game are actually good levels. I can't even say anything too bad about them. Could some of the levels in this game be stinkers? Probably, but there's always some good ones in there to find. This is all because they brought back the original level designer of Sonic Generations for this game, and I really hope that level designer sticks around. It seems like he has a lot more potential under his sleeve, and just knows how to make fun and engaging levels. So Shadow controls very well in this game. He feels a lot more free when it comes to his movement, which is something I would say Sonic Forces and Sonic Frontiers just don't really have when it comes to their level design and how Sonic controls in the levels. And an issue that I sort of have with Generations is that sometimes Sonic feels like he's on rails. That's not to say that Sonic Generations is an awfully controlling game. This game just does a far better job with its controls and fixes those issues. The only problem the controls have in this game is that they're not mapped to be like Sonic Generations controls. It is definitely possible for you to change it, or over time you'll get used to it, but it can feel a little bit awkward. Overall, the controls are great in this game. You want to know what else is great too? The level design in this game. You would probably think something like the 2D levels in this game would be neglected, but like with the 3D levels, they both have a level of quality to both of them, and they utilize the gameplay gimmicks in this game very well. In the first level, you'll be using Chaos Control to stop some missiles, and it flows into the level so perfectly. It doesn't feel out of place or it's like a bad gimmick or anything. No, it actually works. The Doom Surf fits perfectly into Kingdom Valley and doesn't feel out of place. The Squid, even if it isn't my favorite ability in the game, does fit into its level too. And when the first ability in the game gets introduced, the Doom Wings also fit in too, especially your Chaos abilities. You not only have really well put together level design with good ideas, but you also have the abilities that add on to it too. I feel that I could play through these levels over and over again without getting bored, because they're just that good. Not only that, but the levels do have replay value to them. There are collectible tokens you can find in the levels, and you do have various different pathways you can go down. I think my favorite instance of this would be in the first level of the game, and there's a few other instances I could bring up, but that's probably the best one. And when you get the Doom Wings, you are able to play through each level again with the Doom Wings, so you do kind of have a reason to go back to these levels. There is also the addition of extra challenge levels, which I think I like a lot more than the ones in Sonic Generations. And can I just talk about the set piecing in these levels? Even if it's something as small as a volcano exploding, I just think that's cool. The best instance of this is when Black Doom shows up, where everything starts to get all trippy and stuff. And I kinda appreciate this inclusion in the levels. It's sort of a nice way of spicing up the gameplay a little bit, sort of just an unexpected throw at you. If you were to ask me what my favorite level in this game would be, I'm not really sure, to be honest. Well, obviously I can give you the answer. Sunset Heights. They turned a mediocre level into something that deserves to be praised, but this is still kind of a hard answer to give you. But my final verdict on the game and its level design is that it's just really good, it's fun, it's enjoyable, and it makes me realize how different it is from the other Boost games in the series. So now we're just kinda left with the game's hub world. I think I like it a lot more than the islands in Sonic Frontiers. It's far more visually interesting to me, but also structured better. It's smaller and there's less to do, but even with that fact alone, I just enjoy it a little bit more. I'd even maybe make the argument that the abilities are used far better in the hub world than the ones in Frontiers. I've already gone into what I think about Squid. I do think Doom Surf controls solidly. The Chaos abilities are also pretty solid, and my favorite out of all the abilities would be the Doom Wings. It does kinda suck that it's only a glider, but it still controls very well. Oh, and you know about those tokens I brought up earlier? You can use them to unlock these boxes and get stuff like artwork, music, and even shadow history. If they do bring back the open zone after this game, this is probably the best way they could bring it back. It's not a huge hub world, but there's definitely a few things you can do around it, and I like it. I do want to quickly bring up this game's visual/art style. Yeah, it looks like Sonic Forces, but it does look a lot better to me. So that kind of covers the main gameplay aspects of this game. What is next? Oh yeah, the boss fights. The boss fights are actually really good in this game, even better than Sonic Generations. My personal favorite boss in this game is definitely Mephiles. I've already said that I'm not too huge on the squid ability, but it is utilized very well in this fight. There's also Metal Overlord, the Bio Lizard, and the final boss of the game, Devil Doom. I'd say this is when the game utilizes your abilities to your full potential. I'm not going to really say much else about them, but they're probably the best in the series. I'm just gonna let you listen to a few tracks to appreciate the music in this game. I love this game's soundtrack so much. There are some genuine bangers in here. This music definitely deserves to go on the list of memorable Sonic music. That's all I have to say about Shadow Generations. I don't know if I'll ever have an experience like this with a game ever again, but I was just in shock when playing it. I don't know if I'll ever feel like this again when playing a video game. But overall, I really enjoyed Shadow Generations. My final rating would be a 9 out of 10 for it. I could give it a 10, but I think this is a reasonable spot. So that's all I have to say about this game, and I'll see you guys next time, and bye.